A young woman named Lisa notices someone trying to unlock her front door from the outside. A strange man stands right outside, claiming he was sent by her boyfriend to keep her company. But Lisa has no boyfriend at all, and how could he possibly know her door passcode? When the man tries to force his way in, Lisa panics and grabs her phone to call the police. Sensing trouble, the man slams the door shut and storms off in a rage. Overwhelmed by terror, Lisa collapses to the floor, unable to move. Before she can calm down, a strange text pops up on her phone. Transfer 5 million KRW to me within 5 minutes, or face the consequences. 5 million KRW is equivalent to 3 months of her salary, and her mind goes completely blank. As she hesitates, she hears the sound of someone entering her passcode at the door again. Another stranger stands outside, also saying he's here to keep her company. Lisa's mental resolve shatters completely. She realizes all her personal information, her address, her door passcode, every last bit of her privacy has been fully exposed to a hidden evil lurking in the dark. Fear washes over her like a tidal wave. Her body trembles uncontrollably, and she's on the verge of a breakdown. Fortunately, the police arrive just in time, subdue the man outside, and take him to the police station for questioning. The man confesses the whole story. He'd come across a post on a second-hand trading platform, which asked for a man to keep the poster's girlfriend company. At first, he thought it was a prank, so he replied on a whim. To his surprise, the other person sent him the full address and door passcode, repeatedly saying his girlfriend was lonely at home alone and urging him to keep her well company. Today's film is Target, the latest South Korean suspense thriller. If you love online shopping, or if you're currently home alone, you absolutely have to watch this one. The story is set in Seoul, South Korea. The protagonist, Lisa, is a designer at an interior design firm. Like many young people striving to make it in a big city, she lives alone in a small rented studio apartment. She plans her monthly income carefully, living a frugal and thrifty life. One day, her washing machine suddenly breaks down, and the repair cost is ridiculously high. Lisa decides to buy a used one. She browses secondhand trading platforms carefully and finally spends 300,000 KRW on a washing machine that looks to be in good condition. But when the installation technician comes to set it up, the supposedly 80% new machine doesn't work at all. Its internal parts are severely worn out, making it little more than scrap metal. Lisa is so angry she can't speak. She immediately tries to contact the seller for an explanation, only to find the seller has already deleted their account. Helpless, Lisa goes to the nearby police substation to file a report. After hearing her story, the police officer sighs and says such cases are far too common. With a current backlog of cases, it will take at least 3 months before her case is processed. This sense of powerlessness is a true reflection of what many ordinary people feel when their rights are violated. A brand new washing machine costs 2.1 million KRW, an expense Lisa can barely afford. With no other choice, she has to carry her dirty laundry to a nearby laundromat every night after work to wash it. On her way home from the laundromat, the plastic bag holding her clothes suddenly tears, spilling her undergarments all over the ground right in front of a group of students. The shame and humiliation in that moment ignite a fierce anger in Lisa. Back home, she scours various second-hand trading platforms carefully. Before long, she finds a new account, whose product descriptions and communication style are almost identical to the scammers. She's certain the owner of this account is the same person. She immediately leaves a comment under the scammers' listed secondhand items, detailing her experience of being scammed and repeatedly warning other buyers to watch out for the fraud. When other buyers see the comment, they all say they'll cancel their transactions. A surge of satisfaction from successful revenge fills Lisa's heart. She can't get her money back, but at least she stopped the scammer from doing business. The seller soon sends her a private message demanding she delete the comment in a harsh tone and says the money for the washing machine should be a lesson for her, telling her not to cause trouble. Lisa refuses to back down an inch, replying directly, "I've already called the police. You're just waiting to be arrested." After sending the message and getting no response, Lisa fires off several more texts, lashing out at the scammer. The scammer never replies. Lisa finally vents her anger and stops obsessing over tracking the scammer down. For her, the matter is settled, but retaliation comes faster than she expects. That night, Lisa's doorbell rings nonstop. One delivery driver after another shows up with orders: fried chicken, pizza, Chinese food, Korean dishes, all kinds of takeout. She never ordered any of it. The delivery drivers are also helpless, saying someone placed the orders using her address and requested cash on delivery. Lisa realizes this is the scammer getting back at her. Before going to work the next day, she tapes a note to her door, saying she hasn't ordered any takeout and asking delivery drivers not to come. But when she gets home from work, the note is gone. The police review the surveillance footage, only to find the building only has cameras in the parking lot. The hallways are completely unmonitored. The landlord explains that residents generally worry about privacy, so no surveillance equipment has been installed in public areas. Considering Lisa's current situation, the landlord urgently installs a surveillance camera right outside her door. Lisa feels a little safer, but the real nightmare is just beginning. That night, as she tries to sleep, the incident at the start of the story unfolds. Lisa returns to the police substation and finds Officer Wang, who's in charge of her case. Officer Wang tells her he's gone to the address registered by the seller to investigate, but no one was there, and the seller's phone goes unanswered every time he calls. Seeing Lisa's near breakdown state, Officer Wang finally agrees to take her to the scene to check it out. With the landlord's help, they enter the rented apartment. The scene inside is eerie. All furniture and belongings have been removed, except for a refrigerator left in the corner. The moment Officer Wang opens the fridge door, everyone is stunned by what they see. A human body is hidden inside. A forensic autopsy and on-site investigation reveal the killer clearly carried out a thorough cleanup, leaving no fingerprints or useful clues behind. A review of the victim's phone records shows his last online purchase before his death was this used refrigerator. It's obvious the killer used the victim's phone to make the purchase, solely to store the body. This is clearly a highly premeditated murder case. Just a few days earlier, another woman had filed a report about a similar situation. After being scammed while shopping online and calling out the seller in the comments section, she received a flood of cash-on-delivery takeout orders, plus threatening messages every day. Eventually, the scammer even showed up at her home, but fortunately, the girl reacted quickly and managed to escape. Lisa drags her exhausted body home, when suddenly a foot juts out from the door, crack, blocking the door. She looks closely and sees it's her manager from work. He'd heard about what she'd been through, and came to keep her company, telling her not to be alone. But after a string of bizarre incidents, Lisa's nerves are stretched to the breaking point. She trusts no one now, unable to tell if his concern is genuine, or if he has an ulterior motive. Acting on instinct to protect herself, she shoves the manager away roughly, shutting him out in an almost brutal manner. Even though it makes her seem cold and unkind, she doesn't care. Surviving is all that matters right now. Lisa goes to splash cold water on her face to clear her head, but when she steps into the bathroom, she sees water droplets still on the mirror, and a towel scattered on the floor, clear signs someone just took a shower there. A bone-chilling chill shoots up from her feet to her heart. Clenching her teeth, she summons the courage to walk out of the bathroom and glances nervously around the living room, only to find a pair of disposable chopsticks has appeared on the dining table, with 2 blobs of ketchup dripping next to them. Suppressing her fear with all her might, Lisa walks into the bedroom and sees her computer is on, the mouse moving on its own as if controlled by an invisible hand. A line of text then pops up on the screen. "You came home early today." When Officer Wang receives Lisa's call for help, he immediately rushes to the scene with his team. They search every corner of the apartment thoroughly, but still find no useful clues like fingerprints. However, the newly installed hallway camera does capture footage of the scammer breaking into Lisa's home, though he's wearing a hat, so his face is invisible, and he also takes the memory card storing the footage. To stop the scammer from breaking in again, Officer Wang decides to take turns with his colleagues keeping watch downstairs, outside her apartment overnight. The next day, Lisa still goes to work, but she's on the verge of a mental breakdown. On her way home from work, the scammer calls again. Lisa's voice cracks with tears as she begs desperately for him to stop harassing her. The scammer demands 10 million KRW to be delivered to her home in person by 10 p.m. that night. Haggard and numb from days of torment, Lisa obediently turns off her phone, goes to the bank to withdraw the cash, and heads home with the money. Meanwhile, Officer Wang is staking out Lisa's apartment building from his car. The longer he waits, the more uneasy he grows. Minutes pass, but Lisa still hasn't come home. He tries to call her, but her phone is off. As he stares blankly at his phone, a figure wearing a helmet suddenly appears outside the car window. The person slams a fist through the window and presses a towel laced with a sedative over Officer Wang's nose and mouth. Officer Wang struggles for a moment before losing consciousness, slumping back in his seat. The scammer pulls out a knife, ready to strike, but the sound of a car approaching in the distance makes him abandon the plan. He turns and walks into the apartment building, entering Lisa's door passcode with ease. Just as he's about to push the door open, someone steps out from the hallway corner. It's Lisa's manager, holding a bouquet of flowers, here to apologize. The manager immediately realizes this helmeted man is the creep harassing Lisa. He tries to stand up for Lisa, swinging the bouquet at the man's head, but the scammer is faster. stabbing the knife into his abdomen without hesitation. The manager clutches his wound and falls to the ground, blood seeping through his fingers. At the same time, Lisa hurries home, her mind only on how to hand the money to the scammer. She pushes open the door and collapses onto the sofa, exhausted. Just then, she glances up at the ceiling by chance and sees a pinhole camera hidden in the fire sprinkler. A cold shiver runs down her spine. She finally realizes the scammer has been watching her every move at home this entire time. As she stares at the camera in shock, the door behind her opens, and the scammer walks out slowly. Lisa tries to run, but he grabs her. Only then does she see his true face. He's the worker who installed the surveillance camera outside her door. As the scammer sedates Lisa, Officer Zhang drives up to relieve Officer Wang. He spots the unconscious Officer Wang in the car at a glance and immediately understands what's happened. He quickly calls for backup and sprints up the stairs to Lisa's floor. But before he can take more than a few steps, a red car speeds past him. In the split second the car passes, Officer Zhang sees Lisa, unconscious, lying in the back seat. He gives chase, and the newly awakened Officer Wang sees it all. Fighting off dizziness, he starts his car and follows Officer Zhang, sparking a wild three-car chase through the streets. At an intersection, a large truck barrels through and collides with both the red car and Officer Zhang's vehicle, turning the scene into chaos. By the time Officer Wang arrives at the crash site, the scammer is long gone. He rushes the injured Lisa and Officer Zhang to the hospital. Lisa's injuries are not severe, but Officer Zhang's wounds are too critical, and he cannot be saved. Officer Zhang's death plunges Lisa into deep guilt. She blames herself for everything. After being discharged from the hospital, Lisa moves out immediately. From then on, the scammer disappears completely, as if he suddenly lost interest in her. The police's serious crime unit makes no progress in the investigation, and with no useful clues to go on, the case slowly becomes a cold case. Officer Wang is filled with frustration, but he refuses to let it go. He swears to himself that he will bring justice to Officer Zhang and give Lisa closure. But for a long time after that, his investigation hits a wall. The scammer seems to have vanished into thin air, never to be seen again. Just as Officer Wang is at a complete loss, Lisa suddenly comes to him with a bold plan. Not long ago, Lisa had overheard two girls talking about second-hand platforms on the subway. When one of the girls mentioned a seller's information and product descriptions, Lisa broke out in a cold sweat. The seller's way of speaking was identical to the scammer's. Lisa finally realizes the scammer has never stopped. He's still hunting for his next victim on second-hand platforms. To protect more girls from harm and avenge Officer Zhang, Lisa comes up with a daring idea to take the initiative and lure the man out. She tells Officer Wang her plan: register an account on a second-hand platform using a fake identity, then contact the scammer actively, posing as a buyer to propose an in-person meeting and lure him out. To make the scammer let his guard down completely, Lisa deliberately mentions she's a single woman living alone. The trick works. The scammer agrees to meet without a second thought. A few minutes later, a man appears in her line of sight, and Lisa recognizes him instantly. That face, those eyes, she'll never forget them. Fortunately, he doesn't recognize Lisa in her makeup and greets her with a smile. But at that exact moment, Officer Wang is stuck in a traffic jam 1 kilometer away. Panic sets in for Lisa. She's now facing the killer alone. The scammer seems to sense something is off about Lisa, his eyes turning wary. He stares at her for a few seconds before suddenly realizing who she is. He immediately pulls out a towel and presses it over Lisa's nose and mouth, but he doesn't know Lisa has prepared in advance, blocking her nose. A noise nearby distracts the scammer, and when he goes to check, Lisa blocks the door. But moments later, the scammer breaks open the glass door and walks toward Lisa slowly, knife in hand. At the critical moment, Officer Wang finally arrives. He and the scammer grapple with each other on the ground, and the dagger is knocked to the ground in the scuffle. Though Officer Wang is professionally trained, the scammer is incredibly strong, fights with brutal ferocity, and ignores his own injuries. Soon, the scammer pins Officer Wang to the ground. Just then, Lisa grabs the construction nail gun from the floor and pulls the trigger repeatedly at the scammer, but it's not a real gun, and the killer is tough and thick-skinned. Even after Lisa fires all the nails, it has no effect. The scammer roars and charges at Lisa. Officer Wang uses his last bit of strength to cling to the killer, and the two crash through the glass and fall together, landing on a car roof below. Even then, the scammer is still clinging to life, struggling to kill again. Lisa rushes downstairs, pinning his arms down firmly, while Officer Wang clamps his hand over the scammer's nose and mouth. After a series of violent convulsions, the killer finally stops breathing. The film ends here. The fear Lisa feels when she looks up and sees the pinhole camera on the ceiling is more real than any horror movie. because this isn't fiction, it's a real-life crisis happening right now. According to national reports, between 2020 and 2022, cases related to pinhole cameras increased by 340%, with 70% of victims being women living alone. These cameras are mostly installed in private spaces like rented apartments, hotels, and public restrooms. In this age of the internet, protecting your privacy is protecting your life.